Hey, you wanna get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky! What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rogin Kim.
California dreaming.
Hello, and welcome to the Rogin Kimcast.
West
It's
Coast
me,
shit.
Rogin Kim. Thank you for listening. Whoever's out there,
California
God
dreaming.
bless you. So I am back after a spell. It's been a while, guys. It has been a while. I decided to take a little break, a little hiatus from podcasting because, well, I'm a lazy person. No, it isn't just that I'm lazy. It's that I had to get a job on top of being lazy, and that's really hard, you know. Part of me taking a little break was all about, there's just a lot of noise in the world, I feel like, you know, and I just seem to be adding to it. Like, I've kind of pulled back my social media presence, you know, kind of pulled it back, trying to figure out what to do about, I don't know, this online presence, the podcast content creation. Do I have the bandwidth for it? And all these other fucking bullshit marketing words, you know. It just, this is all this like marketing speak, yeah, the stuff that George Carlin used to rant about, right, back when it wasn't normal. Now it's just like every day. Now it is just every day, and that's why I'm here to talk about a rebrand. And I'm rebranding the podcast, everybody. It's going to be a sports-centered, but not just cricket. It's a cricket-centered podcast with me and people of interest in the cricket world that I find in Los Angeles. None of that is true. I don't know. I know more about the insect crickets than I do the game crickets, except that, are there wickets in cricket? That's a thing, right? Wickets? Is it? There's no cricket, though. There's no cricket in cricket. There's a cricket bat or whatever that thing is that was in Shaun of the Dead, that wide ass, you know, their bats are like wide as fuck, like a big ass paddle, right? It looks like you're using to beat up high school boys, or not beat them up, but, you know, like paddle them, like in Dazed and Confused is a rite of passage. They get paddled by the older boys or something. That looks like what you would use, a cricket bat. But, you know, if you got hit by that, that would probably hurt a lot. A lot. I mean, even if a little baby picked it up and hit you with it, just the weight of the bat, I mean, the baby would probably get hurt too. Like, multiple people would get hurt with the cricket bat. Is it a bat? I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. But there are wickets. And that was it. That was the whole first episode of the new cricket podcast. But I'm kind of torn because I'm like, part of me is like, maybe I need a niche. Which is it, guys? Niche or niche? Let me know. Niche. Okay. Well, there are so many podcasts. There are so many things. You know, what makes this one worth listening to? Part of the reason why maybe I don't have the following I have is because there's no specificity to my brand. What the fuck? See, I hate talking like that. I hate this. This is why, you know, I'm not good at the business aspect of this. But this is also why there are people who do that, right? There's like people who actually, that's what they want to do, and that's what they want. Like, I don't want to do that. I just want to write jokes and perform. I just want to do jokes. Yeah, and podcasting is fun. But I guess it's like when I start thinking about it as like a marketable thing, you know, I just don't know. I'm just fucking drawing a blank. Well, I did this whole thing of like, okay, what am I interested in? Okay, I'm interested in weed. So maybe I should just do a whole podcast about weed. It's just a weed-centered podcast. And all we do is talk about weed issues, weed-related things. Okay. I'm also interested in martial arts or mixed martial arts. So I could do an MMA podcast. But there's tons of MMA podcasts. Or maybe I could do a martial arts podcast. Do a martial arts podcast just about the esoteric nature. I mean, that's kind of nerdy, right? I mean, though I am interested in it. Okay. What else? Movies, film, television, you know, pop culture. tons of those already, right? That's just everywhere. That's probably one of the easiest things to do. You know, I could like watch a show and have a podcast per each episode of the show. That's like a thing. There's all kinds of avenues. And then I started thinking, all right, well, why should these all be different? Should they be split up? Should these podcasts be split up by subject? Is that the way the world works? I guess that's just marketable again, right? Marketable, brand, whatever the fuck. But then I'm also about the brand being me. I'm in the business of selling me, right? I'm in the Rogin Kim business. I'm trying to make Rogin Kim be the most Rogin Kim can be. So maybe just everything has to be under that Rogin Kim umbrella, right? Like maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just all. Now we're back to here, the Rogin Kimcast, and welcome to the Rogin Kimcast. It's me, your host, Rogin Kim. Thanks for listening. Thanks for bearing with me. I've been away for a bit. It's been 5 months since I podcasted, picked up a mic, and all right. I wrote a whole thing for that, and I just utterly failed. No, I'm kidding. I didn't write anything. That would have been good, though, to prepare, I think. Am I flying off no, I've got a whole outline right here. Okay, yeah. All right. Interest-based podcast. So, I don't know. I'm still dealing. Dealing is not a good... Why did I say dealing? You know what it is? Here's the thing. And I don't want to sound like, I'm a complainer, Mr. Complainy. Okay, but... this fucking office jobs suck. I can't do my own work in the office. I mean, I could, and I certainly am doing nothing a lot of times. I mean, there's a lot of times in the office I'm just fucking, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just looking at the internet. I'm pretty sure the other dude in the office knows I'm not doing any work because it doesn't look like I am, but I am. I am doing tons of work. Okay, it looks like I'm procrastinating, but I'm not. I am on top of it, guys. I am so on top of it, you wouldn't even know that I was there. I'm light as a feather. That's how I am. I'm all over it like dust, like a fine layer of dust that you think formed because it seems to have been inactive, but in fact, it hasn't been. It's been very active, and we are progressing towards our goals. We're going to meet our deadlines. And none will be the wiser. Anyways, a lot of time spent. That's the kind of acting awards we need. Fuck the Oscars. What we need is best office worker pretending to do their job. We got to do stuff like that. That's the real shit, right? That's the real skills that's out there. We are just not talking about stuff. Maybe that's one topic of interest, I suppose, for me is mental health. I like a lot of M's. Marijuana, martial arts, movies, mental health. And I was like, should I just call it the M podcast, the M4, the MMM podcast, MMMMM, M's, the cast with your host, Rogin Kim. And then it'll be my thing. My thing will be like the M. I'll wear M's. M's will be all over the, and I'll be like, yo, I'm Rogin Kim. I'll even change my name to Rogim, right? ROGIM, fool. Because we rock the double M's, even though I'm interested in like 4 or 5 M's. I guess, that's what it's all about now. You need to think, you need a hook. How are they going to know you? You got, marketable, understanding. Yeah, synergistic. Let's run this up the flagpole. Let's throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Yeah, who let the cat out of the bag? Who let the dogs out? See, and that's what I'm talking about, guys. It's just pandemonium, okay? It's just nuts. What are we supposed to do with that? We're trying to survive. We're living. We're just living, and we're being inundated with propaganda. That's essentially what it is. Marketing is a form of propaganda, right? It's trying to get you to do something, trying to get you to remember or buy or that. So essentially, it's the mildest form of propaganda. It's economic propaganda, right? It's not really like trying to tell you that, the Belgians are evil or anything like that. That's the kind of propaganda the state might do. Or also just say that marijuana is bad and we should jail all these people. That's propaganda as well. Or that the war on terror is an actual thing that's worth fighting for. These things are all propaganda. Okay. And included in this umbrella propaganda is advertising and marketing, the sales talk, the shiny language we create to make it look better, that sort of PR spin that we put on things. You don't want to say that, the guy stole. You want to say that, he was apprehended, committing larceny. You use big words instead of saying, dude stole, right? And there's, it's fancy. It's a fancy thing. We're saying, we don't want to be too direct. We want to use euphemisms, words, marketing, fancy language, okay? Tiptoe around the thing, right? And we're good at it, man. America's built on it because, we promise freedom for everybody, right? The whole George Carlin joke of slave owners who wanted to be free. It was like, it's amazing. It's amazing what we've done. And I do love this country because it is the country I'm in. Okay, so I think that's, it's worth something. It's where I was born, and so I love it. Okay, I mean, if I was born somewhere else, I might love that country, but I wasn't, was I? So the point is moot. The point is moot. So back to the rebrand. Where that's sort of like the age-old thing of like, I've always considered like, should I change my name because I have a weird name? Rogin. It's not a normal name. Should I just change it to Steve or some shit? Or like John, or like all the regular Asians that are out there that are for the Korean guy Ken, huh? Nice, solid, easy name, right? My name, it's not like a hard name to pronounce, like Sungtae or something like, it's not a hard name. Rogin is relatively easy, just spelled with a G, so it fucks people up. People say Rogan, and then I could get confused with Joe Rogan, and people have called me Joe Rogan, Joe Rogin, Asian Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen. Not Asian Seth Rogen, though. I don't really look. I feel like I'm kind of like Seth Rogen on the inside, but I'm also like Joe Rogan on the inside. But that's also because I've listened to thousands of hours of Joe Rogan and only seen maybe like 10 hours of Seth Rogen, so it's not fair to make a comparison. There's absolutely much more Joe Rogan in me than Seth Rogen, me, Rogin Kim, with a name spelled with a G, so people pronounce it Rogan all the time, so you can see the dilemma. Anyways, so I was thinking, like, should I change my name? But I don't know. That's a rebrand, right? Change the name. Try to be more, I don't know. People want to be called like Fred or some shit, like something normal or what they consider normal. You don't want to be special sometimes. I don't want a weird name. I want a normal name. And then other people are like, I don't want a normal name. I want to be distinguished. I looked online, and there's like 1 million Ken Kims on the IMDb, so I changed it back to Rogin to be original. But I lost my domain, and now the guy wants $100,000 for the domain. I don't have it. I can't even pay my student loans, man. All right. So that's where I'm at. Rebrand, niche podcast. What is all this? Also, live stream, YouTube, make it, monetize it, put it on the YouTube, monetize it. Why? I don't know. Should this be a live? There's no camera running. Now I have to fucking throw on cameras. Part of the audio thing, the advantage for me is that you don't get to see how embarrassing this whole setup is here. I get to see that I am talking through a $5 Amazon desktop mic stand that's holding my mic up with rubber bands that I had to find that I pulled off some broccoli because the old rubber bands broke. And it does have a pop filter, though, so that's, legit. But then I have to stick that on top of a DVD box set and then put a legal pad on top of that box set so that I could rest the stand on top of that. And then it's high enough, to reach my mouth at that point. And then, this whole time I'm like, should I just buy a mic stand, or one of those arm stands that attach to the desk so I don't have to, touching it, it's just floating in midair, and then I have to buy a GoPro or some shit. Like, what do I have to get? Am I going to stream from the camera, the iPad, there's like a million things. And at that point now it's like, oh, do I need a producer? Do I need to produce this shit? What's going on? But, maybe this is it, man. This is it. Okay? I know. YouTube is where it's at, they say, the video content. So I'll figure that out. Maybe, start fucking go into a studio or something. Now I'm going to put more money into it, into the podcast. And so in the end, what matters is consistency. So it's been 5 months since my last podcast. And I've lost all of my listeners. But what I'm going to do is Rome was not built in a day. It was built in 2 days with a 5-month hiatus in between. And so it's possible, okay? We're not breaking such new ground here that, looking at impossibilities. Doing okay. Mental health. Guys, what is it? What's going on? Why do we know we can shoot a fucking probe onto a comet that's like fucking 11 years away. Like we did that, right? But we don't understand what makes us go crazy. We don't get it, or we don't know what's good for us or bad for us when it comes to mental. We're just figuring out that sugar might be bad for us. Like we're just figuring that out. And then maybe we're like, it's good. We don't know. So, and if we can barely figure out what we can eat, like how the things that eat affect us, how do we know anything about our mental health and how it's affected by the stimulus that we provide? Like the propaganda that I've been talking about, all this marketing and this sort of the social media push to present everything as a fucking awesome, everything's so awesome and everybody's having such an awesome time. Look at my stories. I got so many stories. I got so much shit going on, so many things to say, and this is good and this, and it's just these curated experiences designed to create an artificial picture of life and to drive engagement and behavior that ultimately suits the needs of advertisers and other data miners of data. So they're just seeing what you respond to, where your eyes go, where you touch, where you tap, what you say, where you are, all that stuff. It's got it all. Is it a sinister thing? I don't know. I mean, I can't. Sure, I could see why you might think that, but on the other hand, it's like it's all of it, so it's just ridiculous. I think what it is that it is power. It is a form of power, right? To just have all this information, but then not really exercise any responsibility about how that information is wielded or how it affects people. There's all this information. There's all this, like Jonathan Haidt was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast about the depression rates of young girls rapidly rising, coinciding with social media. Makes total sense to me. I mean, it wasn't so great for girls when there was just commercials. Now I can't even imagine with the social shit. It's just inundating, and and dudes, whatever. All of us, our brains are being rotted. I mean, if our brains are rotten from television, then they've just been resurrected as zombies with social media. You know what I mean? They're not. They're actively wandering around eating each other's brains. If our TV caused our brains to die, social media caused them to become zombies. That's really what it comes down to. Okay. So mental health is an issue that I'm interested in. I'm not by no means a professional. I've been to professionals. For years. So I have some qualifications. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. And then, so this is welcome to the Mental Health Clubhouse with Rogin Kim. I'm your host. Today we're going to talk about issues of mental health plaguing our society. Let's talk about mass shooters. All right. It kind of like just segues into like a real, I guess, violence. We can avoid the violence. Can we avoid the violence? Just depression, massive depression, anxiety. Why, what, how, who? All those questions, the important questions that you got to ask to get some understanding of what it is that plagues all of us. I mean, look, all of us are not crazy, right? Only a few people are like legitimately ill, right? Crazy. And then there are some people that have like, we could say they're ill. Like we have issues. They need help, right? And then there's the vast majority of people who like just need someone to talk to once in a while. Just need to fucking just life is bad enough, man. Can you imagine back when you had to fucking plow fields and fucking fight wolves and bears and shit? I mean, shit was, you could use a therapist back then, but now we've got fucking supermarkets and fucking Snapchat and you know what I mean? Like it's just unending. Pokemon Go, yeah, I don't know. What the fuck is it? You know, like goddamn XXX Tentacion. Just these are old references, or at least that kid's dead, so I can't say he's oh, too bad social media can't resurrect him, huh? Can it? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll have a hologram for the guy. I wasn't a huge fan of his music, nor the, I guess, fact that he assaulted people, but I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know what I read, and I can barely tell if that stuff's true. I can barely tell if that stuff is true. But listen, we're in a world where the reality is not important anymore. Perception is more important than reality. The marketing, again, the shininess, right? You know, I was talking to these comics, and they're talking about how, like, oh, you should get an iPhone because I have an Android, and you should get an iPhone because, you know, it matters if your text bubbles are blue. It matters in the industry. It matters. That's what I knew. I'm like, oh, I can't fuck with this. Like, this is not for me. I can't be part of this industry where they'll judge you for your green text. But it's so stupid. That's how little self-worth people have. That's how low our self-esteem is. To be like, oh, his bubble's green. Oh, yeah, he's green. I'm on team blue. You're green. Team blue. Green. It's so dumb. It's so stupid, right? People care about whether their texts are blue or green. They don't care about the yellow and black children making their phones overseas, huh? Little children, little slaves, child slaves making your phones. And here you are being like, is this text green? Well, I shan't be communicating with a green text bubble. There's the fucking... Meanwhile, little Matumbo is mining coltan in the goddamn Congo, all right? Getting his fucking face beaten if he doesn't have the quota, you know what I'm saying? Little fucking Yao Li was in a factory in Shenzhen fucking, right? Thinking about taking a header off the roof, right? Forgetting for a second that there's a net there to catch him so they can make it on to the next shift. I don't think about any of that. Blue, green. Fucking whatever, man. So I don't know. Maybe that should be my that should be the new niche. That should be the new podcast topic, podcast subject. Whatever. That's the new thing. Where all our shit comes from. The depressing state. Late capitalist. It's like a late capitalist. Tales from late capitalism. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta throw shit around. We'll see. We'll throw shit around. We'll see. What sticks? Again, it's like a spaghetti metaphor, right? It's like what you do to see if the spaghetti noodles are ready. Throw and stick it on the wall. Why can't you just eat it, though? What? It's like, how wasteful do you have to be to just throw noodles at the wall? Okay? That's all right. So, all right, guys. You know what? Thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate this. Please follow me on Twitter at Rogin Kim, ROGINKIM, at Instagram, on Instagram, at Rogin Kim. Check me out, RoginKim.com. Google me, Rogin Kim. Go to my YouTube page. Look at my videos. I'm going to start putting out shit. I swear to God, I might quit this job. A lot of stuff might be happening. If anything, I'm still here. I'm still kicking. Could be the new name of the podcast. Still kicking. I don't know. I went through a lot of different iterations. I had the mental health clubhouse. I had still here, but that's taken. A lot of the sort of any saying you could think of, any idiom or phrase, like, again, 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, or kick the bucket, or whatever. Like, they're all taken. Everybody's already thought of them. Every podcast in the world is taken. No one's taken the Rogin Kimcast because there's only one Rogin Kim. Hey, you may have seen me on Kill Tony, and if not, if you'd like to check out my set on Kill Tony, which is a podcast that comes out of the Comedy Store, and it's a live podcast, live stream. It's like a 1-minute open mic, and then you basically get interviewed / roasted by a panel. It was a lot of fun. I'm on episode 315 with guest Tim Dillon. I'm like 45 minutes in. I get to do a minute, and had a good time. almost made everybody sad talking about my mom, meeting my mom, but I don't know why. I mean, people, they just can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth. So, anyways, thank you very much for listening. And until next time, goodbye.